Yo, going Samari J, and we are back with another episode of Koined Insights. Thank you so very much for listening, tuning in, subscribing so far. We really appreciate it. So, if it is that you haven't, this is the first time listening, subscribe, follow. Easy me I say. You can follow us on all social medias at Koined Digital, and subscribe to the YouTube channel at Koined Digital Studios. But anyway, today we have our I was going to say first guest, it's not our first guest. I am tired. But yeah, today we have my friend. This is probably like the third, fourth, or fifth time I'm saying my friend since this podcast has started. I realizing that I'll be your friend.
No, that's right. That's how it's supposed to go.
Nobody,
That's how it's
my friend,
supposed to go.
my likes my friend, them nice. I love that. Yeah, man, we have my friend. She is an amazing marketer. She is a great business development. We can say, yeah?
Yeah. We are on the space.
We're on the space. Yeah. Look here, when it comes on to all things marketing, when it comes on to digital specifically, she is a genius. She is, when we say she gets things done.
That is it.
If my ask her, say, when I go to XYZ, I have a question whether or not it's going to do. All I have to ask is, when is it going to be done? Please help me welcome my good friend, Kimberly Campbell. Yeah. No, a lot of people just not focus, man. A lot of people might be like, who is Kimmy?
True.
Like,
True.
Who should we? You don't have to worry about that. Don't worry about that. Just know such a bad and she open up the space. If you know, you know.
That's right.
That is it.
That's right.
Welcome, Kimmy. How are you?
Thank you guys for having me. I'm good. How are you today?
I'm running on coffee.
It's good and not good at the same time.
Yeah, man. No, I needed it for this week because day, like you heard, it's day 3. We've also been doing some other stuff in between. So this morning I went to bed.
Understand all about it. It's not a case where we take it for granted, and at the end of the day we want to make sure you come first, but we know we have to do.
Yeah,
we just have to get it done.
Do what we have to do.
So by any means possible.
So I want to start off with some icebreaker questions.
No problems.
Are you a night owl or a morning person? All
right, give me the night, please.
Night.
Like, please don't call me.
Don't call me.
Is it in the morning for me? I feel like it's a space where I just need to understand where I'm going, what I'm about. I just don't need to interact. Like, I will wake up in the morning, and if you call me or message me before work start, no, like, I'll talk to you when work time, 8 to 5. Where you going? Like, chill. Yeah, for me, evening, afternoon, you get the best of me. I'm not a morning person.
Yeah, same. No, for me, especially with the work that I do, I need the nighttime to zone in. You get me? Literally, that's what I was doing all last night.
I agree.
Had a video I needed to edit, and everybody gone at them bed. The whole world, they on pause. I can focus, but I don't want nobody wake me up.
No, I understand. And the same thing for us as well. Even some things that we get up and do in the morning, are we in the office or we're on the road, there are just some things we can't do in the day because of interaction, because of people, the noise, whatever. We probably work much better in a period, probably say like a 12 to 3 when it's just us alone and the thoughts and putting the pen to paper and making all of that juice kind of flow. And I kind of get it because we operate different, especially in the creative space. Like, we don't get to just be creative every minute. It's a time thing. Yeah. It is a time thing.
All right, cool. Coffee, tea, wine, or a cocktail?
I'll go with the tea. I'm a tea person. The reason being, the coffees and stimulants, they don't work on me. If I want to sleep, I will sleep. I will drink it and go sleep. Like, it don't have nothing to do with me. I think I'm a tea person because sometimes I will skip a meal and I feel like I need that as my filler. So I will go for my tea just for, feeling a little bit different or giving that little jazz. Outside of that, I'm a wine girl. So red wine, you hit me off with
What's your favorite red wine?
I have to show you the bottle. I cannot pronounce it. It's the famous bottle, the you pronounce it for me. Is that red wine?
Lamont
That is it.
Lamont.
Yeah.
So
that
good.
Is it. I feel like
it's one of my favorite
if you're not a wine drinker and you taste it or have just a glass, you will automatically be comfortable to just finish the glass.
Yeah.
And that is it. That is one of the choices for me.
Especially if you're one of those persons that you've only been drinking like Moscatos all your life.
True.
And you want to kind of get into something a little bit
and
more.
And then when you start elevate and go into the more intense way of, tasting and whatever, it helps your palate to change your mood, basically. You're not sticking to just one side.
So this is why you're my friend.
No, I tell you.
So why you're my
it's
friend.
a good starting point for anybody.
It really is.
You elevate your space and you want to try something different.
But you want to promote
no, that's why
things.
you have to pronounce it for me.
You know, promote nobody things, you not pay away. You see me? All right, cool. If you had the ability to, go back in time or go forward in time 10 years, which would you choose and why?
All right, so I'll go back in time. I think for me, I'm a very reflective person. And if there are some things that I could shape or change, I would, so that it impacts where I'm going or where I'm now in a better light or in a better view. I don't know, the anxiety of knowing what's coming ahead, I understand that, but I don't like to rush things because it's undue pressure and stress as well. So I would go back in time, fix a few things, improve a few things, and come back again.
Yeah, I think personally, I don't believe that all things that we call regrets are like damaging.
No, so I agree with that part.
So things that people call regrets, I'm like, that's okay.
And I also feel like it's a teaching tool and a learning moment for most of these things too.
Right.
I think it's your outlook on it why you decide if it's a regret, yes or not.
Yeah. So I too would choose to go back in time 10 years. I'm like,
see why we're friends?
10 years ago? Where was I? 10
years ago.
But no, I thought what was happening 10 years ago. 10 years ago?
I was in UA.
10 years ago, I was in university.
You were thinking about transitioning into the working world or transitioning into what I wanted to do. So I could have worked with that. I
was moving from one university to the next.
See?
But
Yeah.
So to see where I was then and where I am now, to be a good reminder of like, just keep going, just keep falling forward.
And always remember that why. Why you started, why you made that transition, why you made that move.
Yeah. All right. So why did you make that move? Seeing that we just talked about university.
Look at that.
So we just talked about university and transitioning that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You're moving from university into the working world.
Yeah.
Did you choose to do marketing in university? Why? If you didn't, what did you do?
Okay.
And then how did you transition into the corporate space, into the working world?
All right. So quick synopsis for me, right? So while I was at UA, my goal was to really go in banking and finance. And for me, when I went at UA and started in first year, I was like, I met a lot of people and I saw a lot of things and I was like, I don't want to be locked in. Like, I don't want to be bogged down with something of, it seems like a nice to do, but in my life, I always want to make sure anything I'm doing, I'm not bored. That's one of the things I always think about. And if I should transition, the transition should not be a headache as well. So when I went there, I started management studies and I was like, you know what? I want to be an all-rounder because I'm so curious and I'm able to match what I do with my personality as well. So those are the things that really channel my thoughts as it relates to what the direction that I wanted to take at the time. So I did management studies. I did a cross view of a lot of things. So everything was in a bucket. So I had a little bit of everything in that bucket while I chose my courses and what I wanted to do. But I was always of the view I wanted to be out there. I wanted to do something that was fun and that continued to evolve. So with that, when I left UA with management studies as my core major in general management, I had a lot of things in my bucket to play from. Yeah. And that's how I saw myself. I never saw myself where I had to limit or put a box on whatever I want. I knew traditional titles and traditional jobs were never for me because of my view in terms of where I wanted to go and how I wanted to tap into different spaces. And I'm not somebody who's going to start something today, change my mind tomorrow, start it over. I'm not like that. Like, I like to see things end to end. And for me, if I'm making a change, it should not literally seem like a start over. It should be like another layer to what I'm doing.
Yeah. It's another chapter.
So moving from UA to the working world, it really was a joke at first because trust me, coming out of school and we don't have no plan. We just want to make sure that the investment that our parents make, it never seem like it default. Yeah. So it was like a gamble. My friends were like, who are the first ones can get a job? And all right, cool. We apply. So, the easiest thing that we were able to do is to see probably what call center we could go in or what big corporation we could land our foot in, no matter what the role was. We just wanted to go through the door. Because the agenda was never to land a job. The agenda was to go through the door.
Right.
So when we got the opportunity and I started in the working world, so that my first job is the job that I am in now, but not my same role. Gotcha. So at the end of the day, when I went in, I had to find a way to be different from everybody else. You know, it's UE and UTech combined. Every corporate space you go, everywhere you go. So it's literally another ball field, another game. To me, I feel like I wake up every day and play the Avengers game. Trust and believe me. Like, I don't feel like I got to work. I wake up every day. If you watch the Avengers and the series, every day is a different mission.
Yeah.
Every day somebody gets a different task. Or we have to figure out something else. So that's how I look at work and life and whatever.
Insert Avengers theme music.
So the transition is like that mindset for me. And then going into work, I felt like I needed to understand that I'm in a space where the possibilities are endless. On the outside and on the inside. Now I'm on the inside. So there are certain things that I've never seen before that I'm now seeing.
Yeah.
How do I get to be a part of that? Or even come close to being a part of it? So for me, it was more of finding a plan. The plan was not telling myself what I wanted to do in 5 years. I don't believe in that. You know why I don't believe in that in some cases? It gives you a different level of pressure that sometimes you're not ready for and you don't want to tackle. So what I tried to do was look at myself stage by stage.
Probably that's why I'm not like it neither.
I tell you, because sometimes everybody come and ask us, you know what you want to do in 5 years, bro? I'm trying to live life. I'm trying to make it. I know where
I want to be, but I don't know if that's going to take me 5 years.
And I'm telling you, and that's why sometimes you have to change the narrative of certain little things like that. Because if I told myself what I wanted to do in 5 to 10 years, I understand it's like a manifestation or aspiration, but it's nowhere close to that. It's literally what you were able to progress on now, tomorrow, and it kept molding itself to a year or a few months or a few years, you get me? So really and truly, marketing was never on the table as a selection. It was never on the table. But when I went into corporate and I realized that they were the game changers, I wanted to be a game changer. And that's why I decided to take that route.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So... Boy, no man. No, like I'm replaying everything and I'm like, okay, yeah man, mechanic with that.
Yeah.
But all right, so you're now a game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say
you've always seen yourself as a game changer.
Yeah, and
basically.
I think that is what I would hold on to in terms of that drive.
Right. All right. So before we go deeper into why you see yourself as a game changer, especially in the role that you are in, can you talk to us a little bit more about the role that you're in currently? Oh, actually, bring us along the journey over the last 8 years.
All right, cool.
Like what role did you start off with, and how did you get to where you are now?
So for marketers, and I will say this as an insert, I would recommend persons who are going into marketing, if you're not able to jump into corporate, start from an agency level and get that transition.
You are not the first person to say that.
It's not going to be a good feat if you come from corporate and go to agency. And I'm not downplaying anything. I'm just telling you from a realistic standpoint. When you get the agency level and that kind of experience, you get to choose what corporate field makes sense to lock yourself into. And then that era gets you either molding your skills a little bit deeper or channeling your energies a little bit wider too, to see what framework you really want to build for yourself in marketing. When you already come to corporate, that mindset shift and that frame that is already created, you cannot look back to an agency unless that agency is your agency.
Right.
And this is just coming from somebody who is at one of the best corporate entities with working with one of the best marketing teams. So really and truly,
in the region, not just in Jamaica, in the region.
Really and truly, if you really get that experience already, going back to an agency defeats your purpose already. So to be honest, that agency has to be either yours or a partnership that you see the vision that can mold into larger than life because of your
experience. So Kim, we are telling me, so the next step from this,
I'm just saying,
is either the top of the corporate entity or your own thing.
That's just really the logics of it. So if you start out in the agency, don't feel defeated. It's nice. That groundwork is really nice for you to get to, what space or industry or business you want to really drop into. And when you get to the industry probably that you want to or close to, your duty is to find out how you make your mark across industries, in that industry, or for yourself.
Right.
That's literally the trajectory that makes sense. And if you should call random people right now who are already in marketing, who have made the transitions, they can tell you. Like, it just makes sense. So, yeah. However, just to give that little piece, where I was 8 years ago, I literally started entry-level in marketing. So this means coming in as an assistant or a coordinator. And you get to see the paperwork, the groundwork, and know from there by rubbing shoulders and meeting people on the team, depending on your scope of your team, because everybody's team is different.
Yeah.
Everybody's view on marketing is also different. But we also know key areas of marketing. You know, you have your PR, you have your advertising, you have your creative piece, you have your people on the ground who do trade and sponsorship and, you know, merchandising. Some people also mix it with sales. So you decide what facet makes sense for you when you're coming at entry level. From entry level, for me, the journey was to go to an exec. And the exec simply means I'm a little bit over the entry level of a coordinator where I now get to own a project or I can execute something. And then I report into a marketing manager. So that's the trajectory I went on. Entry level and an exec to a manager, then to a senior manager where I am today. And that senior manager means you are now a people manager, or you're a head of a department, or you are managing different processes that contribute largely to the marketing team. And then for some persons, their aim is to get to a CMO, or, you know, in terms of managing a group of people internally or regionally. But that's my level. So my level currently speaks to being a people manager. So I get to see day to day how I help execs mold their work, or help people who want coming to marketing, starting off as even interns, coordinators, etc., and then guide them through what area they really want to sit in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. So what would you? Yeah. So going into the game changer aspect of things now, the entity that you're currently at has been a game changer for more than a decade.
I agree.
And a big piece of what they've been able to do is position their brand.
Yeah.
Well. As a senior marketing manager, and as someone who is able to sit into a lot of those business development meetings and such, how is it that talk to us about the importance of positioning your brand, especially from like the business perspective?
So when we look at positioning the brand, right, we also have to understand, based on where you are or who you're working with, where currently is that brand? Because people see the brands on the outside as a name. Inside, you're looking at different layers and dimensions. So you have to be able to tell the story of where is that brand. So here is a case that you can look at. Persons may see brands in an awareness stage, for example. And awareness means we're trying to get our foot out there, understanding who we are, getting our name out there. On the inside, the brand is past that stage long time. Their name is already out there. They're already established. They don't need you to tell nobody who they are. Once you say something of reference to that brand or color, people across generations know that brand. So the positioning now becomes a little bit different. We will look at the brand as, where are we going now that we have established our name, established ourselves? Are we looking to venture in different areas, different industries, or are we looking to be able to say we are champions or market leaders and we want to continue that across different scopes? Brand position is very key to understanding internally and externally where the brand sits, what their focus is, and what's that long-term goal according to their business sustainability plan. And then really and truly, that is how a business, whether small, medium, or large, can really say, where am I? Where does that position fit me? Or am I in the right buckets?
Okay.
And it's really the way you have to really sit and think now, because of how fast everything is moving.
Right.
We are literally in the future for some people. Some people are already way ahead of us. So really and truly, you have to ask yourself the real questions, even for the small man coming up, the small man starting up and trying to get his foot out there, or he's already out there but want to evolve. Where are you currently?
Sorry, I'm gonna cut you right because I am the small man right now.
Exactly.
How can we position ourselves? Small businesses, entrepreneurs, founders who have just started the company a year or two. Most of us are younger than 5 years, especially coming out of the pandemic.
Yep.
How can we position ourselves in a way that will set us on a path of growth?
Interesting, right? So we're in an era where marketing is beyond its lens. Traditional, online, social, digital, and we're moving to AI marketing now. So we have to be very creative in terms of thought process. And then that thought process is linked back to what you're offering from a product and service standpoint. Many of us, based on who you're tailoring it to, are not in the traditional space. And some of us that you want to get to may not be on the social space at the time you are on social. So you're now challenged to be very creative in terms of mapping who your customer profile is, their traits, and what's the different generation gap between those customer profiles that you also want to tap into.
Yeah.
So really and truly, a small man looking on, coming up, needs to understand where we are in our generation gap that matches back to my product or service that I'm trying to push out there. Yeah, you promote your stuff on social. Yeah, you promote your stuff on different stuff, WhatsApp, whatever. But can you partner with somebody to get your content on a blog? Can you partner with somebody to get your content featured in a traditional space? Can you get a write-up done? Like, there are so many other channels that we now need to look at as it serves the product or service, because at the end of the day, there's no one channel to do stuff anymore. Word of mouth is also still good. It's still relevant.
Look here, word
your
of
friends
mouth has
sharing
been
your
very
stuff,
sustainable.
your family sharing your stuff, or even people who we associate with who are not even partners, even strangers. That part is not forgotten.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we also want to make sure that you're tapping into resources that are useful for where you want to go. And then the product itself, because for example, if you are doing, say, your creative space and your digital framework, I am sure your aim is not just to sit on digital only. Maybe one day you want to go on a billboard. It may be a static billboard somewhere, or maybe a digital billboard somewhere. But that is just the aim of you understanding that while you're starting off on social or digital, your transition or your movement should want to allow you to see what's that bird's eye view that you have for yourself as a business person,
Right.
where you are now, and where that product can actually live. Because remember, depending on what you're putting out there, it really doesn't serve every space. So you have to make sure that it tailors perfectly for the different spaces so that you understand truly that you're not missing the mark, or you're not missing opportunities, or you're just not missing the end goal in itself.
Yeah.
So those are some things I would encourage people to start thinking about. And if you're going into business and you're going into marketing your business, especially if you're doing it on your own or you just have a small amount of help, you have to push the boundaries where creative thinking is concerned. And that helps with cost saving, it helps with time, it helps with pressure, and it allows you to be a little bit more efficient in what you want to do. So we're looking at channels. Social is perfect. Digital is perfect. But not everybody understands that social is also different from digital. Digital landscape is so wide.
Talk to us a little bit about that before we move on.
So before we move on, we're looking at digital. And if we're looking at digital for a small man, I would say like paid social.
Right.
Paid ads,
Right.
sponsored ads.
Right.
You're not trying to be complicated. You're not trying to be too granular. But remember, depending on the small man and where he wants to go, if he gets to a medium to large scale, he's going to be more diverse. He's going to go into websites. He's going to go into SEO. He's going to go into campaign mechanics. He's going to the granular tools of Google Analytics. So his reporting and return level of where he's putting out and what he's seeing coming in is going to be so different from the man who started off with just a little segmentation, paid social in him community, or share it on WhatsApp, or him share it in a different space on a screen or whatever. But the dynamics determines what you're looking for, the audience that you want to tap into, and then what is the return that you're looking to get. Because then your investment should be able to match back to that as well. So it's just for persons really and truly in the business landscape, understand what that position means for you. So you can always position your thing, but what really is that meaning for you? You're going digital and you do all this bag of thing, but you can't understand the report that come from it, or you don't know how the report turn over, or what's that return on the ad that you spend. So these are things that we want people to be very mindful about. If you're running a business and you're looking into marketing, your channels should make sense for what you want to do. Your channels should be able to turn something over for you, even if it's not tangible. So we have to be able to, what are those intangible returns that you're looking at? And then what are the tangible returns that you're looking to get in either a short space of time or a long term, but medium view as well, just to be able to see, is it practical for me based on where I am or what I'm offering, or do I need to tweak and change certain things as well? All
right. All the way you just said a while ago is something that we at Koined Digital we try to take pride in, especially as a boutique social media agency. We want to be able to dive into the analytics of the data and ensure that our clients get the best ROI.
Exactly.
But because we are a social media agency and content production hub, I want you to talk to me a little bit more about, working in social media.
Okay.
Well, the entity working, the social media side of the entity, and the relationships, the content creation, the creators, the influencers, because that's a big aspect of social media right now.
Agreed. So let us take it from an angle of the content creation. Content creation is large scale and small scale. So we're talking about looking at, say, big brand ads being produced. And for big brand ads to be produced, I hope many persons are looking at it as this should no longer be a vanity exercise for any brand coming up and doing a brand ad. Their brand ad should serve a purpose, and that purpose is the kind of story that they want to tell, the kind of audience that they want to reach, the emotions that they want to evoke. And then on the back of that, how can you spin it to make sure that the key audiences that you're talking to are able to get what you want from them? So content creation, even to sit on social, what's the medium or what's that grab that you're looking to get on social? Is it fun? Is it something serious? Is it something emotional? Is it something touching? Is it something relatable? Those are the things that you want to make sure are landing with you creating content, whether large scale or small scale. And if you're not able to tell a story perfectly, can you use persons who are able to do that for you to take persons along that journey? So for us, in terms of working in corporate and to work alongside, whether it's agencies, the small man, the medium-sized man, a content creator, we look at the value and your purpose with regards to that creation, how you are able to tell the story that makes the brand seem personable, that makes the brand character also evolve, and to make the brand actually sit within a personality bucket. Because you also want to make sure that these different counterparts that you're using within the framework of creating content, it adds that appeal that you're looking for, or it jerks that emotion that you're trying to get out of people that are actually watching the content. Yeah. So I would say they serve a big purpose. They are very relevant. And I also want persons to understand that, if you're looking to go into that space of content creation, no matter what side of the content creation, you have to understand what your role is and the value that you're extracting from the role that you actually play. So let's deep dive into, for example, we're looking at persons who want to be influencers, to be a part of the content piece, to tell the story,
yes,
or to be the focal point of the story. Right. Now we look at it as different things where I sit. So a content creator can be an influencer, but sometimes an influencer is not necessarily a content creator.
Facts.
So we understand where if you can put them on two different spheres and understand how they suit your business, you are already won at the content that you're creating.
What's the difference between content creator and influencer for you?
An influencer for us sits in different parameters in terms of you can be a campaign talent, you can be an ambassador, and you can be that influencer. And we just basically tier them based on how we see them in terms of value, reach, and that return. So they don't need to do anything hard, or they don't need to exert any power. Their face, their image, their likeness can do the pull for you. That means they don't need to take up their phone and tell you anything.
Right.
They can be sitting in a space around certain things, and you have already won the crowd or the audience just based on that person being there. The content creator now has a different level of work to do. The content creator does not have that power sometimes, depending on who you are, but based on how you put items together, based on your speech, based on how you put the space together or put yourself together in terms of the content, whether the content has sound, yes or no, then it takes us on a different journey and tells a different story. So really and truly, you have to get up and do something as a content creator. Whereas an influencer may not. They probably may not have to do something. Right. They may just need to show up. And that's just it. A content creator, no, you have to show up and put in the work. So with that being said, as we made the distinction earlier, one can take both fronts while one may not have to take them. Right. So it's literally a selection process based on where you sit. Now, when we look at it from those two angles, we're looking at it and saying to us, based on the brand or business that you're in, who you really want.
Talk to me now. Talk to me now. No.
Who do you really want?
No, because a lot of here's the thing. I've seen so many content creators and influencers,
right?
work with a particular brand,
Right.
and then 2 weeks later, then work with another brand, and then 3 weeks later, I say, and I'm like, whoa, slow down. This not align.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
what I also see is a lot of entities,
Yeah.
just haphazardly choosing
Yes.
content creators or influencers,
Okay.
and these people don't align with their brands at all.
So here's what happened. And this is just going to be very raw and factual. Many of us in Jamaica and across the region, we don't really know how to use content creators and influencers. And nothing is wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with that. I think it's an ever-changing game that's also evolving. So people are learning on the journey for me. And I'm sitting in a group of people in a room who I think they have really changed the game in that scope. I think we have created the actual playbook to how it works. I think we have executed in different spheres how we are able to map these persons. So here's one tip and trick. You can't really follow another company or another man based on what they are doing with someone else, because the purpose is also different why they chose that person, whether as a creator or an influencer.
Got you.
2, your products and services that you're offering, it doesn't go to different audiences and it doesn't go to the same person. So really and truly, you following and just adding them to your plate, you are ticking the box to say you use them. But are you ticking the box to say you're getting a return on using them? And these are the questions that we need to ask ourselves fundamentally as business owners, as experts, and as persons in the field. So for example, let's go with another piece. Everybody will see somebody do something very great tomorrow or do something trending and they tag many brands. So-and-so has 24 hours to respond. So-and-so needs to answer. We're giving them 5 minutes to answer. But so-and-so comes in the comments and like the post or smiles or comments, but they don't act on that notion of taking on that ambassador, taking on that influencer, or taking on that content creator. And there are reasons why, like legitimate reasons why.
Yeah.
The creator served a purpose in the moment that the brand does not need to act on. The influencer did the same thing. Timing is very important in terms of aligning yourself with a brand as well as a brand aligning themselves with an influencer. Some things are no longer the space where it is audacity to do. Some things really serve a genuine purpose. So for the moment, it's good. Tomorrow, we're not on that notion anymore.
Yeah.
So acting on it did not serve the purpose after that initial moment.
The landscape is shifting.
And that is just the real hard truth about using these people who are creators and influencers. Mark you have influencers and creators who are good at pivoting themselves and changing within the time.
You are right. Very true.
With that being said, a brand can now be very strategic in that framework. If you already have a plan and you see where an influencer or creator is very strategic to transform themselves from today to tomorrow and serve a purpose for a few days to come, then you can map out from yourself internally to see how they suit my product or service, and then look at it from a value component. You know, what's that added value that they can add to you in that time frame? So we want people to understand that it's not a must do. Some brands don't need influencers and creators. We have to be very careful with this as well. There are many brands out there, they don't need you because their name stands so tall, their brand is so polished, and they're at a stage where once you think about them, they're already at the top.
Their brand is the influence.
Exactly. So we have to just dial it back a little and understand the space that we're in, understand why you want to do what you do, and what's the purpose behind it.
Yeah.
Because to be honest with you, where I'm sitting, if I'm looking at persons watching this today and who I want to work with your brand, we're also already looking at you. We have seen you because we have already scouted you.
So I was just about to go into that.
Yeah.
What are some things that upcoming influencers, content creators, and I guess even agencies who want to work with bigger entities, segment that for me. What are some things that they can look at and be like, all right, these are the things I need to work on in order to be seen, in order to be chosen when I send in a page, or as I'm just going about my day to day.
Understood.
A glass buckle company will say, yeah, man. So I want to work with you.
We have to also be very careful that we're not just trying to do this. We understand it's a job for people too, But we also understand that it's not every job that you take on. And it's not every job suits you.
Word.
Whatever field that you're in.
Word.
So for a content creator and an influencer, here is a gem. The businesses that you want to work with or align with, what's the value that you're bringing to them?
Mm-hmm.
2, where is that business now?
Mm-hmm.
Are they in a confusing space? Are they going through a particular period? Are they looking at innovation? Then you can look at that and say, I'm able to match XYZ to what I want to do. So it creates a semi-alignment because it doesn't stop at that space. When you understand what the business is doing and where they're going, you need to know what route you really want to take. Is it because of naming? You just want that association? Or you want to see something for the foreseeable future? Because remember, if you're looking at brands, for example, the brands that know what they're doing versus the brands who are just trying to understand the game, those who know what they're doing, we have all seen you. We are all on social with you. We're also already in your comments. We're already in your friends list. So we have already scouted you probably before you thought of doing this. Yeah. And we also want to be mindful that nobody is in a space where it is a must. It is highly likely. It is literally a gamble again. So we want to be able to understand, are you tailoring yourselves in the right direction of a content creator and an influencer? Or are you trying to do both? Because sometimes if you don't understand which side you want to sit on, it seems like you're taking on everything and then everything just looks confusing. Yeah. The brands who understand who they want and when they want the person are looking at metrics to measure you. And these metrics look at what you are able to turn over for the brand. So I'm going to give you an example. So if I'm looking at influencers tomorrow or in content creator, there are certain metrics I'm going to put on the table as it relates to how are you able to measure to what the brand wants, where the brand is. So we're looking at post intent rates. Many persons don't know what that is. That's perfectly fine. But we can always learn after. Yeah. We're looking at engagement. Followers in this day do not count because we have nano, micro, and macro. And we can always go in any one of the buckets. Yeah. What people look at is storytelling and community engagement online, because at the end of the day, if you are able to hold a niche and a community within that bucket, it means that the brand is able to talk to a specific group, more targeted, and get their product or service over the line faster than someone who has a mass influence. And that is where brands are actually going today. And these are the brands who know what they want, know the audience they want to talk to, and how they can see that return coming in. Right. And that's, I'm going to add a little gem for other persons. Where I sit, we use UTM tracking to be able to match back to influencer marketing. The bar is now higher than ever before.
You have to explain what is a UTM.
So what is it? It's more like us looking at creating links to your videos within the social space and digital space to see where our engagement is coming in from.
Got you.
So persons who click that link on your content piece or with the content piece that is aligned within digital knows they're coming from Facebook, Instagram, wherever. So we know where the pull is coming from.
Got you. Okay.
And that pull tells us, can you turn over a sale for us? Or that pull tells us that you have a specific audience that we need to change the product offering for. So the back end is what we really look at to support the thing that you put out as, we label it as content on the front end to see if it matches back. So it's no longer a get ready with me for just lifestyle content.
Right.
It's no longer spend a day with me.
Right.
It's more of spend a day with me to see how something adds value to the day. Or get ready with me to see how whatever it is I have in the video appeals to the people.
It's no longer just vibes.
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's literally what can you turn over in terms of even sales, turn over in terms of even getting to an audience or tapping into new communities. And those are the things that we should be able to measure, should be able to comment on, and should be able to tell in your storyboard when you're even doing your pitch to these agencies, so they understand you know what you're doing, you understand your value in the same sense, and they understand that they're not coming to somebody who is just everybody's fave. It's somebody who knows the game, and we can work together to make that alignment make sense. So really and truly, guys, I think what we also need to understand is that people out there really know the game. Some people don't. And this is why we open these conversations so people can understand where are we going, where are some companies today, what are we looking to do, and how we can make it larger than life.
Yeah, man. All right. Sorry, you told me with the whole UTM thing, so I'm still a recover. Yo, you've really shared a lot of insightful thought.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of bring it back to what you were describing to us earlier.
Yeah.
About just being a game changer.
True.
That has been just who you've been for your entire life.
True.
And you've brought it into your work. You've brought it into this space. And I just want to just take a moment and just commend you for that, because
thank you.
Listening, sitting here, me just listen and say, no man, I'm afraid this should bad. Should bad. So going into the whole aspect of being a game changer.
Yeah.
You've spoken about how influencers and creators can position themselves.
Yeah.
And to think what things they need to think about in order to be seen.
Yes.
And in order to be accepted should they put themselves forward.
I agree.
I just wanted to give like 3 tips on how I'm not gonna get enough work for do.
No problem.
3 tips on how business is. So you I don't want to just talk to big corporate entities, no. But like smaller corporate entities, smaller businesses, founders, how businesses can look to position themselves
right.
In a way that will attract content creators, influencers to want to work with their brand.
Yeah.
And then how content creators and influencers can position themselves in order to attract
no
other
So let's go
entities.
with the businesses first. So businesses need to know the customer profile and the generation gaps that we're in. I'm a millennial, we have Gen Z coming up, and we have Gen Alpha.
Yep.
So if you don't know those terms, I would encourage everybody to start looking at the generation behind us, where we are now, and those in front of us. So we can basically understand what the position framework is. Your product and your services should be tailored either across the buckets or even to a specific bucket, so you understand where in the space you really sit. And if you understand that piece, I honestly believe that that's where you are able to either tailor the product or services, whether it's content-led, yes or no, to them, so that you see what that return is for you. And then that's how you are able to add to the decision-making piece of it from a business perspective, whether it is even selling lip gloss to moving up to selling shoes or clothes or moving up to owning a retail chain. So we want people to understand that it's no longer about putting up a brand name and going out there and sharing the post and selling it on social. You also need a personality behind your brand. Like, your brand is there, but does the brand have a personality and a voice? Because that is what we're looking to see to drive that kind of appeal. The appeal is what you need now to hold the community together and then turn over what is it that you're looking for as an end goal from that space or community of people that you're looking to talk to. So the positioning is really your mindset. What's that business mindset that you have? Are you applying it to the different shifts in technology that are happening around us? Are you also looking at the landscape that you're in and seeing if you're in the right field, talking to the right people? Are you even meeting the people where they are? Like, where are the people that you really want? Are you meeting them where they are? Remember, in business, small or large, not everybody's going to sit on social media at the time you want them to.
True.
Some people are in drive time. They're not using a phone. Some people are, in different spaces. Some people are doing fitness. Some people are doing so many different things. So where are you trying to meet your customers? Where are you trying to meet the people that you're talking to? And that really tailors all the different things or elements that you need to really position in your business. And then carrying the product or service to them, ultimately either getting a profit, getting your awareness out, or growing within the same time frame as well. From the creator-led and influencer standpoint, I also believe that if you see that as a business for you, and that's the area that you want to go into, you always have to be one step ahead of the game. Because the business and entity who is looking at a small, medium, or large scale influencer knows to an extent that if this is a company that understands the marketing scope, they know already what trends for next year are. Because I can say it from my end where I sit We know the people that we want to talk to. We know the people that we no longer want to talk to. But we know the people that we know want to start to tap into. And that is just because of understanding the business landscape, where you want to go and how they sit in these different buckets.
Yeah.
So your duty is to understand your value, understanding how you're reporting on yourself, understanding how you're selling yourselves to where and whom. Because taking on every job because you want money is okay for you. But is it okay for the business who wants that alignment to make it work for them?
Right.
Not necessarily the case. So we want people to be very mindful that as you go through the landscape and as you go through content creating and, pitching yourselves out there, you also have to feel the need to reach out. Ask people these valuable questions.
Yeah.
And if somebody's aligned with a company that you can simply ask them a question. We DM people for different things and we ask people for different things on social and we skin our teeth and laugh for different stuff. Why we can't skin our teeth and laugh about them someday too? Because it's always changing the game that makes sense and always making a different mark in each area or space that you're going to. So I think you can use your different tools by just reaching out, trying to understand where businesses are, who they're looking for, if that skill set or talent that you have match the business, same reverse psychology, does the products or services match your skill sets as well? And then to see, remember, it's all about the storytelling piece. If you can tell a very good story, no matter who and where you are or who you use, it really adds the value and the impact that you want. So we also want to make mention of, what are you talking about? How are you talking about it? In what space and when? And what's the return?
Yeah.
Is the return tangible or intangible? And if you can identify those markers, you're literally on your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Kimmy.
Yeah.
I don't want you to stop talking, to be very honest. Because every time you open your mouth in our little friend group,
Yeah.
The next one, the off camera, it's always just a very insightful thing.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why it's one of the reasons the friend group even still exists because just the think tank that is there, incredible. But speaking of think tank, last question.
No problem.
What's the single best piece of advice you've ever received?
To be authentic.
All right.
Yeah.
Wrap it up. Yeah, man. We're done. On the
Yeah, to be authentic. You can't go around that. Trust me. And if you are going into a field such as mine, which is marketing and being creative, there's no other way out.
Yeah.
Literally. Because it's going to show up somewhere, somehow, and you're not going to see where, that either that mask or that layer that you're trying to put on, it have a reel back. It's going to be rolled back. And you have to understand that that's just the way of the space that you're in and how you navigate that space. So you literally just have to be your true self and be authentic.
Yeah. If expose your authenticity or risk being exposed.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it from me. More so don't chat longer, but we can't do that. We don't have enough time.
Yeah.
So, guys, thank you so very much for... please no about mashup. We can't afford to buy anymore. Guys, thank you so very much for joining us for another episode of Koined Insights. Please follow us on all socials, which is really and truly just one social, at Koined Digital. And subscribe to the... What? On Instagram. Yeah, man. Sorry. Thanks, babes. I just want social media for now. At Koined Digital on Instagram. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel at Koined Digital Studios and subscribe to the podcast, Koined Insights on all podcasts and platform. Why don't subscribe it? Why not follow? Why not like? Yeah, you can follow me at Omar J. Harris on Instagram and all social media platforms, I think. And also at Roman Ting, Rom X Ting on Instagram and TikTok. Kimmy, which one can find
LinkedIn
you?
first, Kimberly Campbell on LinkedIn. We get it out there. That is it. For the ramping time, Instagram, TikTok at _Kimmy Campbell, Kimmie.
And if it DM her and then become fast friends, she'll add on to our close stories. That's how the fun will begin. But anyway,
thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so very much for joining us. Until next time, guys. Big up on yourself, you know what I mean?
Okay. All right, we're done today.